Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar. Um, I will share my screen and let's get started with the webinar. Okay, so thank you guys for joining us today and welcome to our freshman webinar. A few of my friends and I wanted to have this webinar as a chance for you all to learn a little bit about our experience at Pitt and a chance for you guys to ask any questions that you might have in mind. So let's get started off. First of all, hi, I'm Marina, as you can tell. I'm a rising sophomore and I am a pre-med majoring in biology. My freshman dorm was Sutherland East and I was in the honors LLC. And then I have the rest of my panel with me here today. Panel, can you guys tell us a little bit about yourself, your major, and what dorm that you guys lived in?
Yeah, hi, I'm Maddie, a rising sophomore majoring in marketing at Pitt, and I lived in Tower A my freshman year.
Hi, I'm Edith. I'm majoring in bio, and I'm on the pre-PT tracks. And my freshman year, I lived in Tower B.
Hi, I'm Sean. I'm actually undecided about my major, but I want to do something in either film or biology. My freshman year, I lived in Tower B.
Hi, my name is Vicky, and I'm a pre-med majoring in molecular biology and history and philosophy of science. I lived in Sutherland East my freshman year in the honors LLC.
Great, thank you guys for introducing yourselves. Now let's get to know our incoming freshmen.
So we have a little icebreaker for you guys. So if you could please type in the chat box on the bottom of the window, tell us your hometown, the dorm you're hoping to live in next year, and would you rather have waffles or pancakes? Personally, for me, I'm kind of a pancakes guy. I think banana pancakes are great, especially if you put some ice cream on them for like a good breakfast uh, meal.
Yeah, I feel like waffles are good, pancakes are good, they're both good. I guess like one thing about pancakes is that like you can like put filling in them, like how you said like banana or like chocolate chip or whatever. But yeah, I don't know.
Personally, I like waffles better because you can make waffle sandwiches with stuff, and they can be savory and sweet at the same. Yeah, so
Yeah, I definitely agree with Vicky. Like, I like a good Belgian waffle, like crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. And if you guys are ever craving waffles at school, you can always go to market and make your own.
That was pretty solid. So I see we have like some people from like Pittsburgh and then other people from like California, which is pretty cool. Ooh, we have a New Jersey person too. Well, anyways, let's get
In
started.
Virginia.
So first, before we get into the actual like content and everything, if any of you guys have any questions about anything, feel free to send them into the chat and we will answer those questions as we go. And we will also have a Q&A section at the end, so you can also ask your questions then. Okay, so in today's webinar, we're gonna go through like this timeline and kind of just run through how a semester at Pitt works. We will be touching on a variety of topics, including like what to bring when you move in, week, things that got us confused in the first like semester. So first off, we have before college. Here I have like a personal list of recommendations of items that I thought I used like a lot, or stuff that I'll definitely be bringing back to Pittsburgh next year. And I just kind of want to highlight like three things. So I have a water filter pitcher, calculator, and an umbrella. For the water filter pitcher, you might be wondering like, oh, why would I need that? There's like water fountains and they're filtered, right? But I think it's kind of nice to also kind of have water in your room, on hand if you're like studying or something. And I definitely recommend using Brita, which is like a brand. And then for calculators, if you're taking any STEM classes, you should definitely bring your calculator because those things are pretty expensive. And if you already have one in high school, you might as well bring it, right? And then I have an umbrella because it rains a lot in Pittsburgh. I don't know if you guys know, but I didn't. So I would definitely bring one or buy one when you get here. And then two other things I kind of want to mention real quick are hand sanitizer and mask because we are still in a pandemic. So that's definitely something that you should bring if you're able to. Yeah, and then if you guys want to know more about dorms at Pitt, like after you get your room assignments, and I know things are a little fuzzy right now, nobody really knows what's going on, but we have a dorm webinar coming up in a couple weeks. So definitely look out for that. And then for our panel, I kind of want to ask each of you guys to share one thing that you guys regretted bringing. So if you guys could share that, that would be really great.
I definitely brought too many leisure books to school. I had like my whole bookshelf filled above my desk, and I didn't touch them like once because I wasn't a leisure reader before school. So this is just telling that if you aren't a leisure reader now, you probably won't become one in the future, which kind of stinks. But maybe just limit it to a few books.
Yeah, for me, I definitely feel like I brought like way too many t-shirts because I thought I wouldn't have like enough clothes to wear like at school. So, and I'm also like from out of state, so I can't just like go home like whenever I wanted to and just like pick up a few more clothes. And I just like realized that I actually had like more than enough to like wear, especially like during O week. I collected like a bunch of t-shirts. And my recommendation for you guys is to like really think twice on like what you're gonna bring to school, and you might likely not need that many outfits because like during exam season you're probably going to wear the same thing over and over again.
For me, I brought too many cups, but that's also just like a me problem. But more generally, just don't bring that many silverware and dishware because you're not going to be eating in your dorm or like cooking in your dorm. And it's like you don't want to spend time cleaning them. I think more useful than like dishware was Tupperware, so you have like containers to store stuff in, like leftovers and takeout, or you could bring a snack to class.
Yeah, I definitely also brought like too many things. And probably brought too many things too. Like I bought too many things as well. So that's kind of something just to keep in mind because you might not be able to fit everything on your way back home like after the semester. Moving on to our next section, we have some advice about moving onto campus.
So there are some carts that you can get to help you move things with your PIT ID for free. Make sure to return them when you're done with them, or you may receive like a fine. And then for your parents to enter the building and help you unpack, you're going to need to get them wristbands, and that will be right by where the people are giving out carts. And then a lot of people are going to be like moving in at the same time as you in the same dorm, and that may take a long time, especially if you only have like one elevator up to your floor. And then another thing about like RAs, they're there to help you while you live on college campus, but do remember that they're also just college students as well. So you can talk to them. Also make sure to be respectful to them and don't do anything stupid that actually forces them to have to do their job. And then our next section is about O week. Maddie, could you tell us a little bit about your experience with that?
Yes, of course. Interesting. So a week is just like before school actually starts, as you know, and before we actually have academic responsibilities. There's a bunch of informational sessions, I think, during the day, and then more fun things at night from what I experienced last year. There's still like fun things during the day, like I did a friendship thing where you try like a friendship speed friending. That's what it was. But I definitely recommend going to some O week events if they're in person or just online. I went to one to Target with a girl on my floor and met a group of friends I'm still like really close with today. And I think that was pretty sweet to like be able to meet them. Go with like people on your floor or like your roommate or with people you met started. That would be a cool time to interact with them. And don't stress about like trying to make every event because you want some time to rest, of course. And even though I found like my solid group of friends through a week, that may not happen for you, which is totally okay. Like nothing's wrong. It just takes a second to like click with people or find the right people. Um, and moving on to the activities fair, though, that is one of the major events of Pitt a week. I think this year it's going to be online, which I personally we don't like know much about. I'm pretty sure Make New is going to be there, which Panther to Panther is hosted by Make New. So maybe try and check them out if you're interested. But otherwise, the activities fair has like clubs and sports signups, and I think that you should definitely check out like club meetings like the first 1 or 2 weeks of school and see how they line up with your schedule because of course you'll find people that you'll like have similar interests with, and that's where I met a big chunk of my other friends for sure. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I have about that. Anything anybody else wants to add?
So I think O week is also a great time to socialize because classes haven't started yet, so you don't have like any like thing to do. And also, if you're like worried about meeting people, you can easily think of it as a clean slate because no one knows you, and also no one knows each other. One thing that really worked for me was meet people was to leave my door open while I was doing stuff in my dorm. So that way random people from my floor could just poke their head in and talk to me. Also, while waiting for like the elevator to get into the dorm, I would just strike up like a friendly conversation with the other people around me who are waiting. And this is a great way to meet many different people from your dorm. And also be open minded to meet new people and don't assume things about them based on their appearance.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Sean. And I just like want to quickly mention that you don't have to do the same things that you did in high school. Like for some of you guys, you might have been like very involved in some clubs or activities in high school, whether it was to like boost your resume or like your parents simply force you to do it. And you may feel like you have to like continue those things in college, but like the truth is you really don't. And in college, you just have like a greater opportunity to like explore and potentially like discover new interests. So I really like recommend you guys to just like give everything a shot.
Yeah, that's really valid. Thank you guys for those tips. I know I definitely would have appreciated knowing all of that during a week. Um, yeah, like 50% of the clubs that I'm in right now are like completely new. I never had any experience with them. So yeah, don't be afraid to try something new. And then now going along with our timeline, after O week, we have syllabus week, which is basically the first week of the semester.
Okay, hello. Just so everyone is aware, the first day of the semester is August 19th. You should have received an official email, like a university email regarding policies about start and end dates and that we're going back on campus. Next, I would like to touch on some need to know items about classes. And so materials wise, your professors may start sending out emails like within the first week of the start of the semester about like materials you should get. In the case of textbooks, it would be probably better if you can find an online version because textbooks are heavy and you don't want to carry around a textbook everywhere. And it's also usually better to try to get used items or like get them online and not at the university store. Some things you might want to get at the university store are lab coats and goggles, just things that are more specific. Another thing that's like highly recommended but not required is our notebooks because most of your classes will be lecture based and they don't give you handouts and or notes. So it'd probably do better for you to bring a notebook so you can write your own notes. Just a note, just read your syllabus. Like they go through, most classes will go through your syllabus the first the first class usually, but just make sure you know what you're being graded on because you don't want to get to like the end of the semester and realize you missed 3 lectures and didn't know that attendance counted as your final grade. Like that would be terrible. Just read your syllabus early, and if you have any questions, ask your professors. And then there's an add drop period of about 2 weeks where you can adjust your schedule. There's a lot of reasons why you might want to adjust, but just know that you can, and that it's generally easier to drop classes rather than add them back in. So you could try to schedule in more classes that fit with your schedule and then drop them later during a drop period. Also, just make friends in your classes. Talk to your classmates. It's like if you ever miss a lecture, you can like ask them for notes, or just like when you need to study for things, we have study groups and study partners. Yeah, just talk to them. They're not scary.
Wow, Vicky, that was a boatload of information. I just want to quickly mention to your freshmen in our webinar, there's a lot of content that we'll be going through, but don't feel like you have to memorize everything because I'm sure like most of us didn't really know anything like coming in, and we're fine. So you will definitely be fine too. And going back to our timeline, our next section are the first weeks, and our panel are going to give some just like general advice about things that kind of got them confused.
Yes. So I know this next thing probably like wouldn't make a lot of sense to you guys yet because you're not on campus. but I'm still gonna like quickly like mention it so you're like aware. So I think like one thing that got us all confused was like distinguishing between like Fifth and Forbes Avenue. So they're both like one-way like streets, but they go in like opposite directions. So you're probably gonna like, be led to like some like random place, and I think it will take you guys some time to like become familiar with like the two streets. But like one thing that really helped me was like just remembering that there's like a sky bridge on Forbes, and that really like helped me during my freshman year.
So one thing that confused me was just how important your PID ID is. It's basically your key to your dorm, and two things that I kept doing in the first couple of weeks was just leaving it inside my dorm and completely closing the door, which locked myself out. And also, I just straight up lost my ID at the first football game. And if you leave your ID card in your dorm, you can get a lockout code from the security office of your dorm. And then great ways to not lose your ID card is to keep it in your wallet, phone card holder, and a lanyard. And always make sure like when you leave your room, you have your ID with you.
For me, it was the bus systems. On campus, there are two bus systems: the Port Authority, which is on the top, and the Pit Shuttles, which is on the bottom. They're very different looking with each other, so you shouldn't get them confused. But the Port Authority buses, you have to use your ID to get on the bus, and they go almost anywhere in Pittsburgh, while the Pit Shuttles just stay on campus. And yeah, like just know that if you ever need to go anywhere besides campus, to go on the Port Authority, because the Pit Shuttles will not get you there.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Also, there's a app that's on the screen. It's called the Move It app. Do you want to say something, Vicky?
Oh yeah, it's a really great app. It tells you when your buses come and like where the lines go. And there's also and there's also like a food and fun webinar coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, the Move It app, like Vicky said, is probably the best transportation app that you'll have. And you can just kind of search up like wherever you need to go, and it tells you stuff. So I definitely like recommend downloading it before you come to campus, or you could download it when you get to campus. Either works. And then, like Vicky mentioned, there will be a Pit Food and Fun webinar that's coming up in 2 weeks, and some of our friends will be giving some tips on like the best places in Pittsburgh to eat and explore. I was definitely confused for a good 2 weeks last fall about where I was going, both on and off campus. I would definitely go to that webinar if you have like barely any experience about Pitt like I was. And then we also just kind of want to mention some general advice about how like just general advice about university. Yeah.
So just tips for being online is that to find your like productive spaces. For me, when I was at home, I have this office, where I do all of my like productive things in, and I moved to a different place when I'm like chilling or doing other not productive things. And just having like a different physical space to do work gets you into the mentality to be productive, and it helps you get work done. Another problem is just staying motivated. It's like really hard to stay motivated in finishing your homework or like attending / keeping up with lectures online. And I think this is really where it's important to have friends or people you know to help you like keep on track, and you can all study together and be productive together.
Okay, now we're gonna get into exam season, which is a bit like a few weeks after classes actually start, when like exams start rolling out, and you have one like every week or something, and then like finals as well, which is the last week of school. I'm gonna start with some study locations. So Hillman is the most obvious option. It's the library, but like the biggest library. And I'm not the biggest fan of Hillman during exam season because it's really packed, and it can be hard for me to focus with all the people around. If you do want to study there, though, there are private rooms on floors 2 and 4, which are pretty cool, where you can study with a friend or a group. So that I've taken advantage of that, and it's also cool for like group projects, I guess, for somewhere to meet. We also have Pozvar, which is really cool. Floors 1 and 2 have newly renovated areas with booths and tables, and there's also like a room hidden in the back or like the side of Pozvar. It's kind of confusing. On the first floor, if it's like super quiet usually, and I feel like I haven't seen many people go there, but I mean a decent amount of people. Hopefully you can find it. I feel like it's room like 15, between 15 and 1516, but I'm not totally sure. Maybe ask someone. And the Frick Fine Arts Library is also a really cute little place to study. It's kind of small, but I think it's pretty quiet and quaint. Next up, we have the cathedral, which is obvious. It's a pretty big building. There's like study rooms, I'm sure, on multiple floors. There's like on the Honors College floor, 39th. If someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't usually
36.
study there. Okay, 36. Thank you. I'm sure you could find somewhere there, but I think I would study usually second or first, but it's kind of dark. Basically any like pit building, there's somewhere to study. Like there's also a women pit union, the 3rd and 9th floor. So like 3rd is like pretty quiet rooms, and the 9th as well. But the 9th has like this really sweet view of Kathy and surrounding areas. Definitely recommend that one. And now Edith is going to go over some tips on some time management stuff and health.
Yeah, thanks, Maddie. So those are definitely some good like study locations that you guys should check out. So my first tip for time management is that I would definitely recommend you guys to create like a plan for yourself like 1 or 2 weeks in advance. Like especially when you know you have like projects and essays due like the same week as like several exams. So that's gonna be like horrible. And you just like really want to have like a set study schedule and try to stick with it. But like along with that, you should also like schedule in time for like relaxation and like sleep. So you should definitely have like time when you like don't like just like have nothing to do with like studying, like whether you're just like going to the gym to like exercise or just go for a walk or something. And in regards to like scheduling your sleep, just try to make sure you get at least like 7 to 9 hours of it, especially like during exam season. So like personally for me, like during exam season when I'm like under stress, I try to like cram, and like the first thing that I'll like compensate is like my sleeping hours. And I know like a lot of people are like that too, but it's really not good for you when you don't get enough sleep, because you're more likely gonna get sick, which wouldn't be like ideal for exam season. And I remember there was like at least like 2 occasions when I got sick. One of it was actually like from food poisoning or something, but that's like a different story. And I just like wasn't like sleeping enough, and I wasn't like eating well at all either. So I ended up like doing pretty bad on like my bio exam. Like I think I almost failed it, but I did get to like drop it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you guys to like make sure you don't compensate your sleeping hours when you're like under stress. Just like have that like set in your schedule and don't try to like change it. And then my second tip is to like take advantage of the time in between your classes. Like this was actually an advice I got from like an upperclassman. So like even if you only have like 15 to like 30 minutes in between your classes, try to like make the most out of it by like rewriting notes or like studying or making note cards. So before college, I wasn't like really the type of person who will like do this, because I didn't think I could get much done during this like short period of time. But like when I started to like try it out, I realized that the time you spend like doing those like little things really like do add up, and eventually you'll be like checking things off your list, which means you're gonna be like less stressed. And the last thing is like if you do end up like cramming or procrastinating, like you should like still try to like take breaks and like eat well. And then now I'm gonna move on to like some resources that Pitt offers. So the first thing that you guys should know about is like the stress-free zone, which is like located on the 3rd floor of WPU. It's like a good place to do some like yoga, meditate, or like even use the massage chairs. And there's also like therapy dog Tuesdays, like from 7 to 8 inside Kathy. So this is like great for like dog lovers. And even though I'm like allergic to dogs, I still like love it. Like I'm not sure like if Pitt is gonna like offer it next semester because of like the safety and like social distancing rules, but if they do, you're probably gonna find me there like every Tuesday night. And I would also like definitely take advantage of the de-stress activities or like snack breaks that the Pitt Student Affairs offer because they're like free. And I remember like one time they were like offering like insomnia cookies or something, and it's like the best thing ever.
Okay, for me, I just wanted to stress, please sleep. Like, I know maybe everyone has like weird sleep schedules right now, at least I do, but like, you don't want to be operating, well, you can't operate on 4 to 5 hours of sleep a day. Like, even though you think you can, you can't. So don't do that. Like, don't stay up late just because your friends are staying up late. Like, I know that was like a big temptation when I was on campus because like I was just like I could go to sleep at 11 p.m. But I'll stay up until 3 a.m. No, don't do that. That's bad for you. This is a picture of Rena, and this is like what you don't want to be. You don't want to be crying about how you have 3 finals the next day and you only got like 3 hours of sleep. That's not a fun time. Don't do it. Okay.
Well, hopefully that wasn't too much information and you guys are still with us. Don't feel like you have to know or remember everything that we talked about. You will definitely be okay without knowing all these tips. And to be honest, it's also just super fun going through the process and kind of just learning things as like you go along. Now we want to open the floor up for any questions that you might have. Feel free to drop them into the chat box or unmute yourself. You can ask us anything that we didn't get to cover, or like if you have any specific questions for like one of us, you can just tag us or like address us. So there's a question.
Okay.
Sorry. How many all-nighters have you guys pulled during your freshman year?
0.
Yeah, I've pulled none either. So.
But I've also like done 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep average. So that's also not, yeah, but 0 all-nighters.
I think that Labor Day was tempting. That's like beginning of September. I like may have stayed up till like 3 and then went to sleep. And then got woken up by my friend and then adventured at like 5 a.m. when it was still light, when the sun was rising. So, oh, how many credits?
Oh.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna go off of that. But we can go on to the next question. How many credits did you all take the first semester?
I took 17.
I think I took 15.
I took like 13, but I had like AP credits, so I was kind of okay with only taking like a small amount of credits.
I took 14, but I also had research and I did also have AP credit.
Yeah, and then I took 14 because I tried to add on classes, but they didn't like work out with my schedule. And it's a little insane to kind of run like from one side of campus to the next just to make it to like one class on time. So I would advise not to like worry too much about like getting the max amount of credits your first semester, because there is that like adjusting period of time. You're just trying to get used to everything, and you can like have more time to like explore campus, off campus. So yeah, it's fine taking like less credits. It really depends on you. I mean, if you feel like you can take more, obviously just go and take more. I took 18 credits my next semester, and that killed me a little bit, but it's fine. I'm taking 18 again next semester, so it didn't kill me that much. Oh, we have another question. Sorry. In general, how long does it take to get from one class to another?
It depends on where you start at.
I feel like it could be like 10 minutes. So like whenever it's either 10 minutes before, it's like 10 minutes before each hour. So it's like 1:50 p.m. That's like when a lot of classes are letting out. People were like, there's so many people around like maybe Cassie and Fifth and Forbes. I feel like there's just hordes and a lot of people coming out of David Lawrence convention, just David Lawrence Hall, because there's like huge lecture halls in that. So that keep that in mind, that you have a lot of people to get through. And I think we forgot to mention to like walk your classes before, like during a week, to like be able to test and see how long it takes.
Yeah, because I've had to walk from my dorm, which was like Sutherland, which is on upperclassmen, all the way to Frick, and that like takes me 15 minutes. So I feel like that's maybe the longest that you might have to walk. So
Yeah, a tip for me, like for like picking classes, is to like also like pull up like Google Maps or something, just to like see where like the buildings are and like how much time it might take you to like walk from like one building to another.
So not all the science classes are in the same building. There's like several different buildings. Like there's oh, I'm forgetting the biology one.
Clap.
Yeah, Clap. There's Clap Hall for biology, and then there's also like Chevron for like chemistry and stuff. So it's pretty spaced out.
Yeah, Chevron is more upper campus, and Clap is on the same road as like Kathy, across from Kathy.
Yeah. And then I guess going back to the how long does it take to get from one class to another, this past semester I had a class near the UPMC building, and then I had to go to my bio class, which is all the way in Clap, and that took me like 15-ish minutes. And then sometimes like if I get out of class and I have like 10 minutes to go to like bio because I have like a bio exam, I would take like the pitch, or not the pitch shuttle, the Port Authority bus, because it runs like through that street, and I would just hop on and then I'll get off at Clap, and it takes around like 5 minutes and definitely saves a lot of time and a lot of stress. So yeah, definitely use the buses. We have another question. Are the buses reliable? Ugh. Vicky seems like she wants to answer this.
yeah, they're not. Like, okay, if you're talking about like reliable, as in like if you have a bus, because okay, sorry, let me start over. There's like the 60 ones and the 70 ones, right? That's what they call them. And
Yeah.
there's like A, B, C, D of them, and they all generally kind of, if you're not going very far, they'll kind of get you all to the same place, and they come pretty regularly. So like if you're looking at that, that's fine. But if you're going to like what, the children's hospital, there's only 2 lines of buses that go there, and they come in like 30-minute intervals, but they also sometimes just don't show up. So it's just like the ones that are closer and come more frequently, those are pretty reliable. But like if you're going anywhere kind of far, you might want to give yourself some like leeway with time.
Yeah, I definitely
think-
agree with that. Oh, go ahead, Maddie.
I think I've had my like an experience of a bus not showing up, and then sometimes there's like easier route, like another route you can choose, like maybe walk a little bit to a certain bus stop. But I think like usually they're more what is it? Sorry. Usually I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, on the transit app, which I had, like they would say, oh, it's coming in 5 minutes, and then it would come in like 8 minutes. So it would usually be a few minutes late, but it was okay.
Yeah, I think like just give yourself more time. If you're like really pressed to go somewhere, definitely don't like have class and then go straight to like an appointment or something. I think overall though, the buses are pretty good. Overall, if you give it like a 5 to 10 minute like range, it's pretty good. So I would say they're okay. They're pretty good for buses. I mean, it's a public transport system. So, I mean, right? Okay, I think we'll be ending the official webinar here. I also want to let all of you guys know that all of us mentors here are a part of a mentorship organization called Panther to Panther, which is run by an on-campus Christian organization called Make New. If you're interested in finding mentorship in your time at Pitt, whether it is about classes, research, your academic goals, really anything, feel free to reach out to us. We can easily match you with a personal Pitt mentor that can kind of just guide you through the college process and answer any questions that you may have. You can sign up using the link, which will be in the chat, and our contact information is also on the slide. You can email us or you can DM us through Instagram. If you're not looking for a mentor and just kind of want to get some questions answered, we also have a Ask Us Anything page that you can submit questions through, and one of us will get back to you ASAP. And the link to this page will also be in the chat. And then a few more announcements. There are also 2 more events that are coming up. The first class of 2024 hangout, which is happening next week. I'm pretty sure, yeah, next week. And it'll just be like a social interaction type of activity kind of thing. You can meet other Pitt upperclassmen and as well as other incoming Pitt students. And then the second event that's happening is the Pitt Food and Fun webinar. And that will be in 2 weeks' time. And if you don't know anything about Pittsburgh or like what to do in Pittsburgh, like I came in, like I would definitely go to that. I know the upperclassmen have a lot of good tips for all of you guys. So yeah, thank you guys for coming, and feel free to really like just reach out to any of us if you have any questions. We're literally free. So yeah, thank you guys for coming. Hopefully we'll get to meet you on campus one day.